started playing at an early age. I was 10. My grandfather, Buck Frame, who was a guitar player and mandolin player, was definitely my biggest influence and inspiration, him and naturally the Beatles. I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house there in a little small town called Eureka, Texas, just right outside of Corsicana. A couple of my fondest memories, and the memories that I know definitely really motivated me to want to play, were of my grandfather coming home after a long day of work in the oil fields around Corsicana and getting cleaned up, getting a bite to eat, then grabbing his mandolin and sitting down in his easy chair and picking until it was time to go to bed. I found the sounds that came out of that mandolin were definitely haunting, enchanting, and fascinating. You know, when my grandfather would go to work during the day, I would grab his guitar out from under the bed, pull it out. He had a little pickup on this acoustic guitar, and I could plug it into a little Fender Champ amp, and I'd just turn it up really loud and jump up and down on the bed and stare at myself in the mirror and play Rockstar. Occasionally they would host these dances at their house on a Saturday night where they would invite all these pickers over, and they would clear out the living room and make a dance floor, and they would sing and dance. And on one of these nights, my grandfather had allowed one of the pickers to borrow that guitar. Well, needless to say, I was pretty upset and jealous, and when it was all said and done, I gained enough confidence to go up to my grandfather and ask him to teach me to play guitar. I'm sure during that process somewhere I'd ask him, well, hey, I'd like to get up there and play at one of these dances. One of those dances happened. The opportunity presented itself. I got up there and played. Anybody that's ever played knows that feeling that you get. Well, I can tell you, I know right then there at that moment I was bit. I still own that guitar. That was my grandfather's. It's the one I learned on and the one I played that night. And occasionally I'll pick it up, and while I'm sitting there holding it, a couple of things happen. One is I go back to being that 10-year-old boy, but the other is a little bit more philosophical as an adult. I look back on it as a purpose and as a defining moment. You don't know it at the time, but when I look back on where I've been musically, what I've done musically, who I've become musically, where I'm going musically, and what I share musically with other people, that was really a starting point right there, and that really hits you hard every once in a while when you go, wow, that's where it all began for me musically. And thank God for those special moments like that.